Hi everyone, let's talk about the quest for El Dorado. Now, I've played this at 3 players. I played it back at Rune Meet, and then I've played it with Rachel at 2 players as well. And I think I've preferred it with 3 players, if not just for the fact that the market moved around a lot more. The markets, other people have made this point that the market is a very nice system because while not having that much variety in cards, there are 6, 12, 18 different types of cards, and you're going to start with the same 6 every time. It does kind of make a variable market quite nice because as soon as that space is empty, the next person who buys a card gets to define what that card's going to be. And it is a really nice system that makes the market feel a lot more different than it should, if you know what I mean. They're the same cards, but the fact that you're not going to get to a lot of them every game really does make a difference. And the market shifts a lot more as you might expect in a game with more players, because no matter how many players you're playing with, there's still only 3 of each card. And so you're probably not going to be able to build up that many copies of each card, and there's going to be more choice of what gets put in there, and more piles are going to run out. Or with 2 players, there's still 3 in every pile, and so it's going to take more work to empty a pile, and there's not going to be many types coming in. I think there were 3 types in that game that ended up coming into the market, and it's just nice to see more variety and not be able to just stockpile one type of card in a game with more players, because you can still only buy 1 per turn. So, you're probably not going to have the opportunity to keep buying, all 3 of this. It's probably just going to be 1 person each buying that card. Having said that, although that does help the market feel a bit more variable, it is just the same cards. And while, 18 isn't a tiny number of them, it would be nice to have more than that. Maybe in future expansions and things, if there is going to be any, it would just be nice to have that. And I think, I'm trying to think back to, I think it was Dorado's final thoughts where he suggested that he was going to, just have a random set and not have every single one available to put into the market later into the game. Maybe just have a selection of those. That might help as well, that you just haven't got the option to put in the, maybe the one that lets you, the ones that let you draw more cards, or the one that lets you move to any hex. If that just wasn't an option for the game whatsoever, that might help it a little bit as well. I really like deck builders in general, and I quite like race games, even though I don't tend to win them. But this one is a little bit different. It's a combination of both. But it's nice trying to see what the map is. Even though the map's got some combination of all of those symbols, you can kind of see that, okay, early on I'm going to really need this, and then later on hopefully I can get some coins to get to this end bit, or maybe I want to hedge my bets and have those multiple choice cards a lot. There are a lot of ways you can get through this, and it's quite good for thinning your deck out as well, because while there are cards that do that, and some cards don't stick around in the first place, there are spaces on the board that do it as well. That's quite a nice little touch, where you could maybe divert yourself a little bit, but thin your deck out so that those starting cards are gone, and you've just got your really big, green movement cards that are going to let you leap across the map. The game system itself, I really liked it. For us personally, the time, I've only played it once at 2 players because Rachel had an awful time playing it. Absolutely awful, because a big part of this game, and maybe a bigger in the 2-player game, but a big part of this game is blocking, because you can't go through or around people. So getting blocked off in this game can really, really hurt you. Maybe you're just going to sit back and do some buying while you're stuck for a little while, but it can really, really hurt you. And people can intentionally move in there. It is a good thing to do for you, to get in somebody's way so that maybe you can hang back a little bit now and you can do some buying, because they can't get past you. It's going to cost a fortune. There's a 3 forest space and a volcano either side of you, so nobody's getting around you for a while, unless they're going to go a really long way around. So maybe you can hang back a bit and do some buying now, or you can just do the strategy of just try and race ahead as fast as possible while other people are buying. But eventually they're probably going to catch up on you. So blocking is a big part of this game, and in the 2-player game, even more so, because now you've got 2 people that you can put in everyone's way. If you have your guys at a roughly similar part of the map, you can do some blocking. And there was, I don't know if I can find it just offhand, it may have been this tile. There are certain tiles where this is kind of a snake. You have to snake through it, and there are mountains in the way that are just impassable, even with the move to any hex card. So with 2 people blocking them off, you really, really can block people off. Now, there is an extra thing that I didn't use in the playthrough, that are the cave tiles. and they are a variant for when you're a bit experienced, but they're not that much to add on top of it. You basically, every tile has got a volcano on it somewhere, and you put, I think it's 3 of those cave tiles on top of the volcano, and anytime you finish a movement next to a mountain space, you get to take one of those cave tiles, and they do everything from, you know, provide 2 movement of a certain type to, you know, the thing that lets you move to any hex. There is an important one that will let you can move through people this turn. You can move on other spaces. Even though that is an option in there, it's still, you've got to go and find them on the mountain spaces, and it's a big random element because you might spend a lot of time trying to get those, you know, when you're blocked off or whatever, but it just never comes out for you, so it isn't really a solution to that problem. It's hard for me to say that it wasn't a problem for me because I wasn't the one getting blocked off, and while I wasn't doing it on purpose, I promise, it was a really, really big annoyance for her, and yeah, she does not want to play it again. So for us, it hasn't worked, but I don't think as I said, the blocking is a lot more prevalent in the 2-player game just because you have 2 people to do the blocking with, and in some of these map tiles that can be a bigger issue than others. So that's something to be aware of, but for a lot of people it won't be a problem. I really, really like the game system itself, and I think it's a fun, quick little deck builder, but you know, the playthrough's there, you can decide for yourself. That is the quest for El Dorado. Thanks for watching everyone, and bye.